Hello beautiful souls, it's Karen here at Psalm 99, and today I felt guided to share a bit of my twin flame story with you. I'm aware of this full moon energy. It's the time of release and it's been very powerful for me. I don't know how it's affecting you guys, but I just thought maybe sharing my story could help somebody out there. You'll have to excuse me because I've got throat chakra issues because I'm trying to share this with you. Excuse me. So I'll just share a little bit of my history. So my first marriage ended in 1998 and I became a single parent. I had 3 young children then. They were 10, 8 and 4. I'd always been interested in tarot readings and gone to psychic fairs and things like that. And there was one particular reader who really helped me before my marriage ended to give me the confidence to help me move on from that situation because I was so unhappy. So I did leave my husband and started a life as a single working mum. And it was during this time I developed my interest in spirituality. I don't know if you've heard of an actress called Shirley MacLaine. It might be a bit before your time, but she's also written a lot of spiritual books. And I've read all of her books, but one in particular was called Out on a Limb, which is her spiritual experiences. So if you've not read that and you're interested, give that a read because it really changed my life. Because a lot of the things that she wrote about, they just felt like truth to me. It felt like my truth. And I do feel she helped awaken a lot of people on this planet, to be honest. Anyway, so I used to go to psychic fairs. I used to buy the crystals and the cards. But at that time, I didn't use them. I was collecting them. And obviously, at that time, I didn't know why. I was just collecting them, to be honest, because I liked them. I'd always had an interest in the unseen, the mysterious, Atlantis, Bermuda Triangle, UFOs, you know, all the unseen. I'd always, since a young child, I've been interested. And even as a little girl, looking out my parents' window, I'm sure I did see a UFO hovering there because I do resonate as a starseed as well. But anyway, my spirituality helped me in my life so much. It helped me overcome a lot, to become stronger as a person, to become more independent, to know what I could achieve on my own. And I achieved a lot, you know, being a single mum, and I worked full time. Very busy life. So that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my background. Anyway, fast forward another 20 years and the end of another marriage. Back in 2015, I'd been married 10 years. That didn't work out either. And I started dating again in 2016. And I met guys online, internet dating, and dated a lot. And one guy that I met was working abroad at the time. He was British, but he was working abroad, and he was due to come home in a couple of months. So we chatted online, and I felt this connection, and I thought he was a twin flame. We'd realised when we met that we'd known each other when we were younger. I'd actually spilt a drink on him once at a nightclub, apparently, which I didn't remember, but he did. We had a very good connection, and I couldn't wait to meet him. So when he did finally come to the UK, we did meet up, and we had a really nice time, and I really liked him. He made me laugh, and we had, you know, a nice evening. But he'd taken on a new job. He was very busy in his work. So it was a couple of weeks, I think, before we met again. And this time we did get intimate because there was a lot of passion between us, a lot of attraction. But after that, when I tried to message him, he just blocked me. And I could never contact him again. I tried, but he just blocked me completely. And that was that. I never heard from him again. And it was a deep hurt. I was very hurt, even though I'd only met him a few times. I connected with him. So it took me a while to heal from that. that connection, and I'd thought mistakenly that he was a twin flame. So after that, it went out of my mind, to be honest, about twin flames. Fast forward again to 2018, and many dates later, I've been dating a lot. Mostly just saw people once, because I find it's always better to meet people, and I'm quite open to meet people. But a lot of times I didn't connect, I didn't feel that connection. And I want somebody who's got that intelligent conversation. You want someone you're attracted to. And it's been difficult to find it in one person, to be fair, to be honest with you. I've met a lot of people. Anyway, back in 2018, in the summer, I met a guy I really liked. He was a professional man. He wasn't British, but he had lived here over 20 years. And he had a lovely accent, which I like. And he had beautiful eyes, the most amazing eyes actually I've ever seen. And, you know, the sort of eyes that you just want to stare into. And again, I did feel a connection with him, but I didn't think immediately, oh, this is my twin flame. I didn't think that at all. It was a casual connection. We weren't a couple. We was never a couple. We dated other people, and we saw each other every now and then. It was very casual, and we text every now and then and meet up in person. And I was dating other people at the time as well as he was, because I was looking for someone I did want a commitment with. I was looking for that special person, and I hadn't found it. And I feel, looking back, I feel I was very guarded, you know, very guarded at that time. I'd come out of 2 marriages. I'd had 2 long-term relationships as well. And that time I've been a very busy person in my life. Had a lot of experience, but unfortunately it didn't work out for me. So I was very guarded. And, you know, when you've had serious heartbreak, you know, it's only natural to want to protect your heart. I understand why I did that. But obviously when your heart is guarded and protected, it's hard to let anybody in. Anyway, we saw each other a few times. We met up a few times. And I had a couple of readings from different people. And they both pointed to the fact that he was my twin flame. But I didn't take that on board, you know. I didn't take their word for it. But it was just my feelings. In the end, I did feel that this was a twin flame connection, because I could feel his energy, especially sexual energy when we weren't together. I could feel him. He was on my mind constantly. I couldn't get him out of my mind. I would see songs or hear songs and number sequences. And even though we didn't meet up regularly, I just felt connected to him. I did tell him this. I did feel a connection with him. This was back in mid-2019, so we'd known each other since the summer of the last year, and we'd met, I don't know, 10 times, if that, I don't know. But I felt closer to him, and I spoke to him about it, that I cared about him. I didn't tell him I loved him at that point, because I wasn't sure, but I knew I cared about him, and I felt this connection. I did say that. I did say, I feel this connection with you. Do you feel this connection? And he denied it. He said there was no connection. And at that time, he just said he was not looking for a relationship ever again. I know he'd been badly hurt in his last relationship, and he hadn't got over it. I don't think he'd done any healing. He basically closed off as well. I think he was very closed off to any sort of feelings. He was just like, he was in that Knight of Wands energy. He was definitely a Knight of Wands. He was in and out of my life. He never even stayed overnight. He would come round and then just go, basically. But meeting him has somehow triggered all my creativity in me. When I was young, I used to write and draw a lot, write stories. I wrote a whole novel once. I don't know what happened to that. And I used to draw. My mum was very artistic, but I hadn't done for years, apart from when my kids were younger, and we used to do art projects and things together. But I hadn't really had time or the energy or even the interest in doing anything for years. But I started to write poems about my feelings. I would get inspiration in my dreams. I would get inspiration in my meditations. And I started my channel. And I'd, over the years, collected a lot of card decks mainly Oracle, but some tarot decks. And then it became clear why I had been doing this. Over the years, I had about, not as many as some people, but I had a lot of decks which I didn't use apart from for friends. I had started doing readings for friends and acquaintances, and even some of my dates that I met, I did some readings for them as well. So I started my channel, and then I started to create, with the encouragement from a friend as well, I started to create my own card decks and tarot decks. And again, I just got the inspiration, you know, from my meditations, from my dreams, and all the language and the words and everything would just come pouring out of me. It wasn't a struggle. It just, you know, it would just come to me. I'd get the words. First of all, that's how it works for me. I get the words, and then I would get the images. You know, a lot of the images I get online, but I have an idea of what I'm looking for, and I just find it online, and then I put it all together. And I've really enjoyed it. I mean, you know, at some points I've been up till 1, 2 in the morning, caught up in a project, and it really has helped me. And if any of you out there are thinking of doing anything creative, I would recommend you do, because it's part of who we are. It's really good to be creative. It really does help you with your self-worth, your self-love, your self-esteem. It makes you feel good about yourself. You're creating something out of nothing. And I've sold decks, I've sold my readings, you know, and these are things that I never even thought of doing before, really, to be honest with you. So there were a lot of good things that came out of this connection. And I've recently started painting. And I'm in the middle of a new project, which is about my painting and card decks, but I'm not going to say any more, but just keep your eyes peeled. Anyway, I digress. So going back to this connection. So the last time we were actually intimate, I realised that I was having these feelings for him. And this was the winter of 2019. And I told him afterwards that I couldn't be intimate with him anymore because, you know, I didn't go into a lot of detail, but I just said I couldn't do it. And he accepted that. And he said, let's just be friends, because he's very intelligent. We had good conversations as well. It wasn't just about the sex, but the sex was amazing. And he just seemed to know exactly how to please me. And it was very satisfying. And a lot of connections I've had haven't been, to be honest. So the last time we ever met was as friends, which was the end of 2019, and he helped me with a computer issue I had. But all the time he was here a couple of hours maybe, but he didn't even look at me hardly, and just went. So I don't know, it was very odd. But soon after that, he lost somebody in his family, which affected him very deeply. So I hadn't seen him since then, to be fair. I haven't seen him. Now, all the while, this connection was, you know, it's a roller coaster, as you probably know, of up and down emotions. You know, those times that you share together are precious, and then the times in between are long. And I was still dating other people. I wasn't not dating, although the last year I haven't dated anyone. I've just started again. But I didn't date anybody because I was going through a lot myself. I was going through a lot of healing. I was doing a lot of deep healing work, a lot of inner child work. I've had a lot of stuff come up from my past. I've been through a lot of my life, not just romantically, but in other ways. And a lot of stuff come up to heal. So I do feel as well this connection triggered that in me somehow. But I don't feel from his side he has done any work on himself. He told me once he'd lost faith in God. He was just so rigid and so set in not moving forward, really, and not releasing the past. Holding on to hurt and anger is not helpful to anybody, especially the person doing it. But you cannot help somebody that won't help themselves, really. So, you know, I worked on myself. I worked on my healing. I've worked on my self-love. And all he's done is work, just pushing down his feelings, and that's his choice. But I don't want somebody like that in my life. I want a partner who's open. I want a partner who is not scared to show their feelings, is not scared of intimacy, true intimacy, is not going to run from their hurts, is going to work through it with me, and we can heal together. That's what I want. And so I detached from his energy at this time, and it helped a lot. So I was minding my own business, and then suddenly this person reached out to me in the summer of last year, and we had a bit of an intimate chat. And I missed him, and I wanted to be with him, but he never reached out again. So I reached out, and he denied that he'd even said it or that he wanted to do that. And obviously I was very hurt. So not long after that, still feeling hurt and rejected, I got drunk one night and sent him a text telling him that I actually loved him. It's not ideal doing it by text, but obviously I wasn't seeing him, so I told him by text, and he replied, and he said no, he didn't feel the same, and he never wants a relationship with anyone again, and he knows that I do want a relationship. So I told him in the text I needed to detach from him, because we had been texting on and off a bit in between. But I was very positive. I was very thankful. I thanked him for the way he'd inspired me, the way my creativity had been lit, you know, all these things. But he didn't respond to that at all. So that was last summer. So I did some more healing. I detached from his energy, and it was good, to be honest, not to be bombarded anymore. It was so freeing. I called on Archangel Michael to help me detach from those energies. I wasn't focusing on him. I was focusing on me. Focusing on me, on my life, on my healing, on what I want for me. But back in January, I was feeling better, and something drew me back to reach out to him again. I think partly it was to see if he had changed his mind, if he'd become aware of any feelings for me. I suppose deep down I was still hoping maybe he did have feelings. We started chatting again, texting, and I was starting to date. I was starting to reach out to other men. And I think he saw me on WhatsApp a lot because he started texting me more than he ever had. And then he also rang me a few times. And I hadn't spoken to him since last summer. And it was good to talk to him, to hear his voice, but he hadn't changed in any way from what I could tell at all. The final straw for me was he made a promise to me he was going to help me out with something as a friend, but he let me down, which he had done a few times over the years, with like saying he's going to come round and this and that, and then he couldn't, and it was always last minute. And a lot of times I didn't even know if I believed him, to be quite honest. Anyway, with this, it was like the final straw, and I started crying down the phone. He'd never seen me upset ever. I'd never cried in front of him before because our time together was so limited, and I wasn't emotional like that with him because I was guarded, I guess, as well. And he was shocked I was crying. He didn't understand why I was crying. And to me, you know, as an empathic person, I would have known why he was crying, but he didn't understand the fact that I told him I loved him last year, and he rejected me, and that wasn't a deep hurt for me, so why wouldn't I be crying? And obviously I've been crying on and off a lot, and it made me realise how totally self-obsessed he was. You know, he wasn't have any awareness of how his actions affect other people, and I spoke to him about this. And I told him that I knew he didn't mean to hurt me, but he had hurt me. His actions had hurt me. And he has to be aware that his actions do hurt other people, whether it's deliberate or not. I'm not saying he did it on purpose. He didn't do it on purpose because he was totally self-obsessed, not aware, really, of what he was doing to other people, to me, you know. And again, he said he never wanted to love again. He's not in that want to love again. So we had this long conversation, and it was good. It was a good release for me. It was upsetting, but I got to say it to him. You know, I got to say it to him and he got to listen. Now, how much of that he took in, I don't know. But at that point, we decided to mutually detach, which happened about, it's not long ago, it's only about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So quite recent, but I felt free, to be honest with you. I felt like I've been freed out of a cage or something. And I'm not saying he put me in a cage. I put myself there, to be honest. I've deleted all his contact details. Now, I don't know for sure if he was a twin flame even, to be honest. It gets very confusing. Or was it a karmic situation? I feel there was a lot of karma between us. I had past life memories that came up, which were very shocking and very brutal. Some of the things that happened between us. And I feel that we did carry forward some of that, and maybe it was part of that to release some of that karma. So maybe it was just a karmic attachment of some sort, karmic relationship. But whatever it was a roller coaster. And it still hurts, you know, whether it's twin flame, soulmate, karmic, whatever, it still can be painful. You know, there's the highs and the lows of it all. And it was difficult and sad and heartbreaking at times, but also very rewarding. I've got so much positive out of it, and you have to look at it that way. You have to look at the positive, take the positive. You know, learn the lessons, learn from your mistakes, try not to make them again. I'm not infallible. I'll probably make more mistakes. That's why we're here as humans, to learn our lessons, to learn, for our soul to evolve and grow. And I feel I've done a lot of soul growth in this lifetime. Believe me, I have been through so much, more than I'm telling you now. A lot I've been through. And I will possibly write about that in another time. But I just wanted to make this video to tell you a bit about me, and also hopefully it might help somebody out there who's in a similar situation or is feeling lost or confused. I'm not saying that your connection's not twin flame. Only you know that for sure. And as I say, I'm still confused about what mine was, whatever it was. It's still something we learn from. But please don't wait on anybody. If you're in separation right now, please get on with your life. You know, do not go pining around for these people, because somebody that wants to be with you will be with you. Believe me, they will make that effort. They will come forward. They will take that action. And those that are not worth your time or energy. So focus on you. Move forward in your life. Move forward. Enjoy yourself. I'm talking especially to the younger women out there that maybe want a family. I've got my family. I've got 3 grown-up children. I've got children. And if you want children, don't wait on somebody else. You could be waiting and then you've lost your chance. So sometimes we have to be a bit selfish in life. You know, think of it. What do you want for you? What is it that's going to make you happy? And the other elements, the person who's going to be there for you, is the side order. You are the main course. You are the dessert. You are everything. It's your life. You make your choices. You make your decisions. So please do not wait on anybody, please. And I truly believe that if anyone is meant to be in your life, they will be with you, okay, no matter what. Okay, you might be in separation. And some people are in separation for many years, but they get on with their lives. They have a life on the side of that, okay? And some of these connections, you're not meant to be in a romantic relationship. It's a learning curve. It's a lesson to learn about yourself. It's a reflection to learn about yourself, to learn self-love, self-respect, to learn what it is you truly can achieve. You know, heal yourself. Do that work on yourself, okay? And live your life. Have fun. Love. Laugh. Enjoy yourselves. Be who you're meant to be. I hope that's helped somebody. Sending you lots of love and blessings. Take care.